So this is Eduardo Sajgalik on Red-Green Prowess against Nikachu on, you guessed it, Merfolk. And this is the fourth Merfolk deck that we have seen from Nikachu this time. This one being more of a sort of straightforward mono blue version of Merfolk. Who you got, Brian?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think this might be the time where Merfolk finally meets its watery end. That's gonna be my prediction.
It feels like we keep saying that but it can't be that bad, right? It has won a lot of matches to get here.
Yeah, that is true. Even took the play an extra match just to reduce the card pool a little bit more path.
And we do have the turn one Rishadan Dockhand, which does line up pretty well against Monastery Swift Spear.
Yep. It's no Deathrite Shaman, but it does have the customary second point of toughness. It's very relevant.
Yeah, internally we'll frequently call it the EST, the egregious second toughness, as a bit.
Yeah. That is valid. Very valid.
All right, and we're starting off with Dragon's Rage Channeler, Mishra's Bauble, Surveil Trigger, leave it on top. Do you prefer that they bin it or leave it on top with the early Dragon's Rage Channeler? Which are you hoping for?
I mean, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Generally speaking, I probably prefer that they bin it because at least it's not exactly what they're looking for. But it does. I mean, I don't know. It does fuel their yard the other way too. So
right, it's pretty tough. Good. You don't want them to get the value, but also if they miss, that means that it's another shot that they miss.
Yeah.
And Aether Vial off the top from Nikachu is really cool.
Little 8th card Aether Vial action. That's I played enough Aether Vial decks to be familiar with that. I was playing Leyline of the Guild Pact this last weekend and had a few of those as well.
Upkeep Rishadan something.
Slows down Eduardo a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, it really feels like he's not getting to use his mana how he wants to. The 2-drops in this deck are notoriously awkward, and drawing another copy of Tarmogoyf is something that I could see being good, but it is going to take a minute.
Yeah, I mean, this hand is quite clunky, I will say. I mean, it has a lot of power, but it could be like a little too clunky, and you just kind of slowly get rolled over by Merfolk, especially with the Vial on 2, just churning them out.
Yeah, I think this is one of the ways that things can go wrong if you're in Eduardo's seat, right? This is a spot where you have a bunch of ground creatures against Merfolk, and even though they're a bunch of blue cards, they do have a decent amount of power and toughness in fair creature fights.
Yeah, and you sometimes get in a situation where it's like, okay, I can trade my Tarmogoyf for 1 creature on the attack, but I might have to leave it back on defense because I can't win the race either, so.
Ooh, okay, so we see Sorcery Speed, Lord of Atlantis. Interesting enough on Nikachu's side, but then Upkeep, Seek the Beast, the adventure half.
Yeah, that's, I think, a good heads-up play of, like, getting a little bit more value out of your actual draw. I could see it either way, really. I could see being interested in waiting or doing it this way.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it maybe just wants to make sure that you're going to be actually hitting a land on it, or it helps you know how much you need to hit that land.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it gives you way more information. That's a very good point. I'm a little surprised that Nikachu ran out the Lord. I would have been interested in maybe playing the Trickster and eating one of the whatever those guys are called. I don't know. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Yeah, the Dragon's Rage channelers.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah, part of me, I would guess the idea here is that he thinks that there's just going to be a spot that it's going to be worth more later. Like, he passed the turn with those not being turned on yet, so maybe the thinking is you hit that, or you can turn off a Slick Shot show off later, or just straight up eat a Tarmogoyf. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Another vial, not optimal.
Yeah, pretty awkward. This is a spot where it feels like Nikachu really just wants to hit another land or two so he can hard cast Tashana's Tidebinder and Subtlety. Though I guess the vial on the battlefield can kind of do that. Fourth bolt off the top for Eduardo.
Nice little extra bolt action. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, this is gonna be tough. I mean, I think this trickster is gonna get some nice value here on some of one of these creatures, but I don't think with zero pressure in play, I just don't think it's gonna be enough.
Yeah, this is one of the things that's so strong about this prowess deck is even though its cards aren't individually that good, you will just run out of life while you aren't able to quite get there with your more powerful cards.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot where Eduardo could just say go to blocks and then bolt the trickster after blocks and saves creature. I mean, I don't instead of going because if you go for the bolt now, there could be another creature being vialed in.
Yeah, I think you do just want to let go of the Dragon's Rage Channeler at this point. In a lot of ways, it's almost just done its damage, right? It's been worth 5 points or something like that. And there are so many other creatures that protecting this one is tough. Okay, well, there's the bolt.
Yeah, did take that line of play. So we'll see how that works out. I mean, it I imagine that it's kind of like almost like all roads lead to Rome situation where Merfolk so far behind it's gonna be tough to.
Mm. Yeah, so looking at the other point of this, these Dragon's Rage channelers did surveil away a lava dart before. So Eduardo is actually presenting lethal by protecting this Dragon's Rage channeler.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There's 7 points killing, so I don't
And
really know how I don't really know if Nikachu has any like options to get out of it. I mean, there are cards that can be drawn to buy a turn or two, but to actually like turn it around to win the game is probably going to be pretty difficult.
the big thing I could see happening here is if Eduardo were to lava dart and then Tashana's Tidebinder were to counter the surveil trigger on a Dragon's Rage channeler to
Mm,
take away its ability. But even that just kind of feels like treading water.
yeah, and I think that's if Eduardo even plays the lava dart pre-combat, could just go to combat, hit for 6, and then
Right.
play it.
No, you're totally correct.
That would be a nice play if that happens, though.
Okay, so here Eduardo can pitch cast the subtlety and then Tidebinder the subtlety's evoke trigger? No, because then it loses flying to block. Never mind.
I think it might just be that situation where it's specifically if Eduardo does play the spell first.
Ooh, or questing or does seek the beast off questing druid here.
Yeah, that would also like do the same purpose.
There is a point where we're talking about all of these, and these are just to solve the one problem, right? There's still a Tarmogoyf in play.
Yeah, yeah. There's still a second Dragon's Rage Chandler. There's still a Tarmogoyf. Even if you don't die exactly this turn, what are you doing? What are you doing next turn?
Right, we're currently solving for the how do we let Nikachu have one life at the end of this turn, which is
And
not
and no,
actually good.
and nothing. I guess yeah. I guess you would have maybe one creature left in play, but yeah.
I think Eduardo's figuring out if he wants to seek the beast with subtlety on the stack, so he doesn't have to draw the Swift Spear again.
Okay, here is the vial.
Well, now I think Nikachu's dead on the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that lava dart should do it. I think this would like if Nikachu was at a little bit better situation coming in, then that play makes a lot of sense to just get so much power onto the board to at least give you a chance to kind of stabilize a little bit. But
Hmm. Okay, well, here's Seek the Beast.
okay. I don't know if there's something that's being
I,
played around here, or maybe
yeah,
missed the darts. No, there is the dart.
okay, there it is.
There's probably some spell to play around that I'm blanking
Yeah,
on.
it might just be plain extra careful. I mean, it's hard to keep track every single version of Merfolk that Nikachu has brought, right? So there's a degree where you're just like, is this the Spell Pierce one? I'm gonna look
Yeah,
so dumb if it's the Spell Pierce one.
yeah,
And we can see a ton of Nikachu's sideboard coming in.
yeah. There's a lot of cards coming in. I mean, there are looks like what 4 Aether Gusts. That is pretty good.
Yeah, what was that? Everything but Spell Pierce coming in? Tidebinder Mage is coming in. That's that's a name I have not heard in a long time.
Yeah, that's like an old code, but it does check out, I guess. Like, what is that? That's red or green creature, right? It's
Yeah,
basically
oh
it's
yeah.
Aether Gust number 5.
Yeah, 5, 6, and 7.
Beautiful.
Yeah, this is holy. So that's tide 3 Tidebinder, 4 Aether Gust, 3 Chalice of the Void, and 2 more copies of Dismember coming in for Nikachu.
Down to 5 cards, not optimal.
Oh no.
That said, looking at Eduardo's hand, like no, there's no real removal here. There is a world where Eduardo ends up missing like a little bit on lands, or I guess has the abundant harvest, but Eduardo's going to just kind of spin wheels here a little bit, and that Svalun could be good.
Yeah, this is a spot where I think the big thing Eduardo's looking for is a copy of Slickshot Show Off. So when you have a Mishra's Bauble and or a 0 mana card, be it Mutagenic Growth or Mishra's Bauble, and multiple Dragon's Rage Channelers and Underworld Breach, you don't literally go infinite, but you can attack for like 30
Yeah,
with a
it's
Slickshot Show Off. I actually almost submitted Eduardo's deck today. I played several leagues with it over the weekend.
nice. I don't know if that would be better or worse. I think it would be better for me if you had. We'll see, I guess, but
I actually am not sure how you and I's blue white X versus Jund creativity matchup goes. But you saying that is encouraging.
yeah. I'm just keeping the bar low so I can be happy, you know.
Phew, can such power be taught?
No, I don't think so. No, yeah.
So Dragon's Rage Channeler, it has a trigger that's resolving before this abundant harvest.
Starfire, nice. That is
This is just old magic going on.
yeah. Tarfire Tarmogoyf. We got Tidebinder Mage to lock down the Tarmogoyf.
Dual decks Tidebinder Mage versus Tarfire just sounds.
Mm,
I'm gonna get my best people on it, you know.
yeah.
All right, Mishra's Bauble finds a second copy of Underworld Breach. Not really one of the cards you usually need 2 of. Though Force of Negation in Nikachu's hand means it could come up.
Yeah, it could actually be relevant because of that. But it's kind of a situation where Eduardo's like winning on board and winning in hand. So it's gonna be pretty difficult, uh, like either way, I think, for Nikachu.
Mm. Yeah, getting to attack with 3 in the air with a Dragon's Rage Channeler on turn 2 is just kind of the dream for these decks.
Yeah. And with all stars like Tarfire, it's not actually that difficult.
Oh, okay. So Nikachu plays his second Master of the Pearl Trident, offers the trade with a Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is not anyone's favorite. Maybe Eduardo's.
Maybe. I think it's kind of a situation where neither player's like that happy with that scenario, but it's kind of a forced play from both. I
Right,
think.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, Eduardo has all these cards in hand, so he goes, "Well, if you're sure, I won't say no." But
Maybe reach here. We might actually see a double breach. Well, yeah, probably going to see that force negation come down, I would guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if it resolved. It's just representing, we talked about it being an instant kill before. When you have a Dragon's Rage Channeler and a Mishra's Bauble, it is frequently just 2 mana, draw like 8 on your opponent's next upkeep.
Yeah, it's so many cards you get to draw.
Mhm.
Still no land 3. The gust will delay things a little bit, but I don't know if delaying is where you want to be when you're kind of behind
Yeah,
in general.
Nikachu really just wants to be able to develop this Spaloon in order to make up this card deficit that he's under.
I think
And
this is
another
a
Underworld Breach.
yeah, probably a must gust situation, but you're not thrilled about it.
Right. At this point, we're really starting to hit the point where it's like, what do the games that Nikachu win look like from this point? I personally don't know, so that is a genuine question. If you have an idea for a line,
I think the scenario is that probably the gust happens here, Sphaloon comes down, and then Eduardo just bricks on like 5 or 6 extra cards from drawing with like Mishra's Bauble and then Underworld Breach, and like somehow I don't know, you get in there because I mean I guess there is what like Eduardo is at 12, so it's not like it takes that long, but yeah.
Dismember probably not going to be the thing that does it.
No, no, I don't think so. I think this is
Oh,
probably there's probably really no realistic way out at this point.
this is so tragic for anyone who's a Merfolk fan. It looked like, we were even joking about it a couple of minutes ago coming out of the sideboard. Wow, look at all of this. But mulligan to 5 on the play is just so tough.
Yeah, it's especially against a deck that's packing so much interaction. Fires, lava darts, bolts, etc.
Right. In a lot of ways, we talk about disruption backed up by pressure, usually to refer to blue decks, but when most of your game plan is rooted in creatures, lightning bolts and tarfires are interaction, and Dragon's Rage Channeler is obviously pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, the power of Dragon's Rage Channeler has been on display both of these games. Now what every Mishra's Bubble takes only one card out of the graveyard. Looks like was that like 6? You draw 6 cards effectively or something close to that.
Minimum. It might even be more if you factor in these lava darts in Eduardo's hand, each netting cards as well.
True. Yeah. Probably, I mean, not optimal. I think you probably have to fire off Dismember here, and you net lose 1 point of life because you're gonna be taking 3 from the Dragon's Rage anyway. But
Okay,
I mean,
well, it looks like the first one is gone through. Yeah, okay. So Mishra's Bauble resolves. Goes ahead and sacks it.
it's like one. I guess Lava Dart here won't be able to put another Dragon's Rage Channeler into play, but can still go off pretty heavily.
Yeah, and it looks like Eduardo started to cast another bauble and realized he wanted to attack when he definitely had Delirium. All right, Dismember does finally go after the Dragon's Rage Channeler after Eduardo goes to combat.
Yeah, take 1 point of damage here, but you will save yourself some amount of cards. I guess is it dart time?
there's a not zero chance that... Okay, so it looks
Starfire.
like flashing back Starfire here, or excuse me, escaping Starfire here. These Dragon's Rage Channelers might hit Mutagenic Growth, which I believe is in Eduardo's deck, and could outgrow Dragon's Rage Channeler from this.
Yeah, that would... Oh, there it is.
It happened!
That is sick. That is awesome. Double Mutagenic.
Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Let him go anyway.
Oh, I have a feeling he meant to do that twice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is what Nikachu needed to happen.
Yeah, yeah, this is actually like in line with a possible way out. I don't think it's going to be enough because Delirium's still online. I guess if Nikachu draws a piece of removal here, I don't know what there is that isn't Dismember. Oh, Tiebinder Mage. There we go. There's two bolts in Eduardo's hands.
Yeah, this is tough where Eduardo just has bolt, bolt, dart, dart, dart. Slingshot show off just in case.
If Nikachu were at 37 life instead of 7 life, maybe. Yeah.
All right, so we do see Slingshot show off to the face, lightning bolt joining it.
And a lava dart as well, just to finish the job.
Sadly, for any Nikachu fans, that is going to be the end of his run. But for any Eduardo fans, it looks like we are going to see Nikachu concede, and that is Eduardo Sajgalik onto the top 4.